course, this video is sponsored by HP. So out of all my New Year's resolutions that I'm kind of most excited about, one was to spend more time gaming. I know it sounds crazy, but I miss it and I want to do more of it. And CES 2024 is a chance for me to walk around and see all the stuff that I ultimately want to check out. And there is a lot happening here. There's like 4 different show floors of all the gaming stuff. So this isn't like the best gaming stuff that we saw here. It's stuff that was most interesting to me and might be most interesting to you. While I'm in Vegas, I figured it made sense to go to like the gaming capital of the city. If you couldn't tell, I am at the HyperX Arena at the Luxor Hotel, actually checking out this video sponsor, the Omen Transcend 14. And John, you're probably saying, looks like a gaming laptop. It does look like a gaming laptop until you pick it up. And then you can absolutely feel a difference. And you'll know it's different because it weighs 1.63 kilograms. This thing is incredibly light. Then I know what you're probably saying next. Oh, John, it doesn't have power. You can actually spec this thing up to an Intel Core Ultra 9. And these processors are packed with the latest tech, as you'd expect. So they're gonna be awesome for both gaming and creative stuff with enhanced AI capabilities and great integrated graphics. This also saves power so you can kind of play all day with lower power efficiency. And with this, you can go anywhere, do anything with the Intel Core Ultra processors. It is a beast on graphics too with NVIDIA's GeForce RTX up to the 4070. You can also get the 4050 or 4060 if you want as well. And then looking at the screen, this is probably the best display I have ever seen on a laptop. So 14 inches, obviously, it's a 2.8K display. So it's 2880 by 1800, VRR, 120 Hertz. It looks absolutely beautiful. And because HyperX is here as well, the keyboard is latticeless, the RGB is obviously bumping. You can go through and tweak it if you want. And also you can go for a while on this thing with a 71 watt-hour battery and like 8-ish hours of battery life. This thing is about as close to the perfect laptop as we've seen. It's great for gamers who want to create. It's great for creators who want to game. Or everybody who wants a little extra power without breaking their back. I know this part of the video is technically sponsored, but this is an absolute beast computer that deserves your attention. If you want to learn more, check it out for yourself, hit the link down below. All right, so stop me if you heard this before, but 3D technology at CES, and we're kind of kicking it back about 4 or 5 years. Samsung was showing off this technology. It's not like in a product, it was more of a concept. And it's a 2D, 3D thing. And I've been very low on 3D technology. It tends to give me a headache. This looked really different. So obviously it's glasses free. It's got 2 cameras on top and can turn anything 3D. And when I hear that, obviously I usually think like, oh, it's like what the 3DS was. It is not that. This was a really cool, very accurate 3D effect. That is not going to be headache inducing. And then if you don't want it, 3D can switch it back to 2D. I would imagine this makes it to a real product. Maybe it's an announcement for CES 2025 or later on in the year, but it did look really cool. And if you want sort of an even more immersive gaming experience, something that can potentially deliver that. I'm assuming most of you guys thought this list was gonna be like insane gaming rigs. Well, let's talk haptics. This took me a surprise here at CES 24, at least the most innovative ways that haptics are being used. So HaptX is doing something kind of cool. So first, it's definitely like a first gen product, but it's a backpack that you wear that has all electronics in it, paired to some gloves, and it gives you haptic feedback to whatever game you are playing. So if you're pulling a trigger, or if you're, I don't know, feeling your way around something, you actually get the haptic feedback in your hand. So the goal here is to make it feel like you're like physically touching virtual objects. I know everybody can laugh, but it's pretty convincing. It's also able to apply 40 pounds of resistive feedback per hand to really feel like there is a solid object there. And they get really granular with it too. It's got sub-millimeter motion tracking in 30 degrees of freedom per hand. So there is almost no perceived latency at all. What makes all this work is called the Air Pack, and it's working with air pressure generated in that backpack. Then if you pair that maybe with what Razer's doing, what they're calling Project Esther, and it takes kind of haptics even a step farther, it's like a pad that goes over the gaming chairs and it gives you haptic feedback again, depending on what you're doing. They're just ways that haptics are being used to give you a more immersive gaming experience. It's not unique to like one particular game. It's gonna work with one experience. Whatever game you are playing, at least theoretically, these should work. So it's kind of awesome to see haptics at least kind of getting that modern gaming take. All right, so stop me if you heard this before, But gaming in a car with any Bluetooth controller you want, probably thinking Tesla, but BMW also really wants you to think them too. And they were showing off a slew of arcade games via their Air Console app that could come to cars that are already on the market. And again, I know those are things that exist from Tesla and a few others, but it's nice to see sort of the big established manufacturers get into gaming in the car and recognize that you have time, whether you're charging or just sitting waiting for somebody, you want to do something else with your car instead of listen to music or inevitably just scroll on your phone. And this is the first step for BMW. They've said publicly they are committed to gaming in their cars. So we'll see what else ultimately comes, whether we get Steam built in or sort of tier 1 games, I don't know. But this is a giant step for BMW to actually get real games that people might actually want to play in their cars. So aside from being able to game this year, one of my goals is actually to finally set up a gaming room for myself, not just at the studio, but like in my house. And obviously Govee is like the biggest name going. We've worked with Govee a ton in the past. I love what they were doing. They have a bunch of light options for home and elsewhere, but the gaming stuff I thought was pretty cool. Last year they showed off their sync box kit, but this year it's HDMI 2.1, so it'll support up to 8K, which I liked. In the room, they had kind of everything there. So they had the Govee gaming light kit, the G1. They had that paired with the light wall, and then kind of the Govee neon light for skirting. They had it kind of all around the edges. My favorite thing, I think, was the Glide Hexagon Light Panels Ultra. Sort of have those kind of all set up. At least that's what I'm gonna try to do. They had it up on the ceiling, which I liked too. I know it's a personal thing. It was maybe too much RGB for a lot of people. I really liked how it looked. Now that it's got HDMI 2.1 for some 8K gaming, seems like the perfect option for my soon-to-be gaming man cave. So, I mean, you couldn't take like 10 steps without seeing some sort of TV here at CES, and kind of the main story that was getting all the headlines was translucent displays. We saw those from LG and Samsung, and then actual micro LED sets that normal people could actually afford to buy. And all that was awesome. What kind of got me excited is what TCL is doing with their TVs. They were showing off a lot of sort of that new flagship stuff, but their QD Mini LED, I think, might be the perfect set for a gaming setup. So 120 Hertz is the native refresh rate for the TV, but there's a gaming mode that can bump it all the way up to 240 Hertz, which using that looks so incredibly smooth. I know that a lot of people think of TVs as probably obviously what you're gonna use for console gaming, but with the different refresh rates in the gaming mode, it's also a perfect display to hook your PC up to as well. I know a lot of people kind of get worried about brightness on TVs. It actually has a 28% brighter backlight. It's up to 2400 nits of peak brightness, which is absolutely insane for a sort of a consumer level TV. This is a combination of looking really bright, looking really smooth, and not going to cost $45,000. There's obviously a ton of gaming stuff here at CES. This is the stuff that got me to stop and look and actually want to experience it. From gaming in cars to haptics, to crazy new laptops coming. I'm really excited for the future of gaming, and I'm most excited, if I'm honest, for my future of gaming, and I finally have some time to get back into it.